My name is Bridget Bartlett Royal. I'm the senior features editor at Essence. And this is Amber Mayfield Hewett.
Yes.
And Amber, tell us a little bit about yourself, just a little bit about your background.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I am from New York, and I've been an event planner in New York for almost a decade now, starting my career in television and working at Bravo TV. And while I was there, I was going to all these awful networking events, and I really wanted to meet people and better connect with people. So I started hosting these dinner parties just as a little side hustle after work to meet other black folks in the industry. And one dinner led to another dinner, and now I have a full service event company, and I host these supper clubs every month, and it has really become this beautiful journey of togetherness through food and hosting. That's the quickest version of the story.
And tell us the title of your book. Your turn. Well, you say it.
Yes. So the title of my book is called Your Turn to Host, and it really chronicles everything I learned about party planning in my journey of having a supper club from my mom and my grandma, and really aims to just document a hosting experience that's very reflective of how I grew up and how I experienced the world, which was something I thought was missing in the hosting category.
Awesome. So look, in this day of social media, it's intimidating to have gatherings at home. Would you all agree? Like the Pinterest perfect parties, everyone has cream furniture, cream living rooms. I just don't get it. Yes. And so for those of us like me who are, we want to have gatherings and celebrations in our home, but it can be daunting to think about planning it, cleaning up for it. Am I serving the right thing?
Yeah.
Is the vibe right? So talk to us about how we should lead with authenticity and not, aiming for this like fake perfection.
Yes. I think so much of the hosting narrative on social media and the landscape has become to be about how a party looks before we're talking about how a party feels. I think that parties and events and gatherings, they're a really personal way for people to get to know you and understand your taste and understand your family history. And so if we could keep ourselves at the center of these experiences and understand that when people are gathering with you, they want to get to know you. They don't want to get to know all the trends that you scrolled by on social media or try all the recipes that don't actually mean anything to you. They want to get to know you. So how can you tell a good story and share your point of view about the world through how you host?
That's a perfect segue to one of my questions. So I had the opportunity to taste one of the recipes in Amber's book, and I loved that it was her grandmother's coffee cake recipe.
Yes.
Right? It's epic, y'all. It's really, really good. How important is it to incorporate like our own family? You touched on it just now, but if you could expand on like our own family traditions, whether it's something that was passed on to us or something that we're
adapted.
starting ourselves, right? How important is it to, infuse that into our hosting?
Yeah, I think there's so much history in recipes and in our gathering tradition. So for me, like I've always had a sweet tooth, which I think I got from both of my grandmothers. And my grandma would always make, and my mom too, would make cakes for the church. And a lot of times they were making them from scratch, but that sparked my curiosity of like, all right, well, how does this all come together? And that's what made me start playing around in the kitchen to kind of try and recreate this coffee cake recipe that was memorable too, like the Entenmann's coffee cake that my grandma would have in the pantry. And so I think that then becomes a much more personal way to say, this is the cake recipe I love to bring. Like if I'm going to somebody's house and they're like, what should you bring? And they say a dessert, I'm going to bring that, or I'll have that if somebody's staying the weekend. But it gives people a nice journey of story for how I grew up and what I like just from a recipe. So the more that we can be documenting and archiving and saving and remixing things that are unique to our family, the more interesting our gatherings will be.
And it makes sense because they sort of become conversation starters.
Exactly.
Right?
Natural conversation starters. Or where does this come from? How did this come to be? What did you change about it? Like those are the things that really enrich gatherings and make them more interesting to attend, I think.
Agreed. You all agree? Yes. Okay, so when you decided you wanted to write this book, Your Turn to Host, what gaps did you want to fill that were in the cookbook / entertainment book category?
Yeah, that's a good question because for me, I think that a lot of hosting books are actually cookbooks with a hosting lens. And so you're filled with recipes after recipes and only a couple of pages about how to think about a party and have a point of view at a party. And as somebody who's been an event planner for the past decade, I approached it from the lens of here's every single step that I do when I am approaching an event. How do I set intention? How do I figure out who's on the invite list? What's the timeline that I follow? So really what I made was this playbook that you can reference as often as you can to feel more confident about hosting because it's so much more than cooking. Of course, cooking is part of it, but there is like an authenticity and an intention that goes into all the other little surrounding details. So I hope to create something that can be a resource in that way and also really reflect our culture. I think so much of my category is really Martha Stewart or bust, and you don't really see these luxurious, joyful gatherings filled with Black folks in our culture. So I also wanted to accomplish that.
That leads me to another question I had for you, because Martha Stewart has become, she's like the guru of all things home entertaining and et cetera, right? Like long before the Food Network and HGTV. But there's another woman, B. Smith, who I know a lot of you are familiar with, who did the damn thing.
Absolutely.
And doesn't get nearly as much shine. She had restaurants. She was, I mean, amazing,
TV
amazing.
shows, books, magazines.
Absolutely, opened so many doors. Yes, let's give her flowers,
Yes.
right? Absolutely. And so I'd like to know, Amber, how do you feel knowing that you are also, as B. Smith did, you're opening doors for younger Black women, a new generation of Black women who are going to feel more comfortable and more confident stepping into that space because of your book and the work that you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's such an important legacy to uphold. I think I always cringe a little bit when people are like, oh, you're like Black Martha Stewart. And it's no shade to Martha Stewart. You can't knock what she's built. She's lovely. But B. Smith had a similar career and made her own impression on hosting in a way that is very important for us as a community to know and acknowledge, because I always think there's nothing new under the sun. I'm not doing anything revolutionary. I'm doing things that are on the backs of B. Smith and on the backs of A'Lelia Walker, who always had these wonderful salon gatherings in Harlem and made that entire like LGBT community at that time feel like they had a space. Like, we can't forget that, because when we do, we start to relinquish the role of hospitality and gathering that our culture very much has contributed to and make it about somebody else's culture. So for me, to be able to do this work and to also remind people of how many other women have done this work, I hope it inspires us to continue pursuing this and how we build community together and also how we consider our careers. Again, B. Smith had magazines, she had restaurants, she had books, she had television shows. And so what does that look like for us to continually have these sources where you're seeing Black people in leisure and luxury and not just servitude?
Love that.
I could talk about that for hours, but I know I only got 20 minutes.
Yes, yes. So, you know, this economy is tough. And having gatherings at home can be expensive.
Yes.
Like hosting, right? I have a girlfriend, I'm a truth serum moment. Girlfriend that's accomplished doctor. Her husband is a doctor. They're in a different tax bracket than me. And she is quick to say, we're having a potluck.
Yeah, I love a potluck.
So, you know, let me know, put in the text, in the chat, what you're going to bring. And I'm like, yeah, why don't we all have... take that agency, right? To say, okay, I want to have something, you know, at the house this weekend. I don't necessarily want to spend this amount, but if everybody brings something, you know, we can pull it off.
We could pull it off, yeah.
Yeah, so do you have more tips around, like, how to elevate a potluck dinner or a potluck brunch or, you know, something like that where everyone contributes, but you still want it to feel a little luxurious. You still want it to, you know what I mean?
I mean, first of all, to the point that you made initially, that gathering can be really expensive, that goes back to how we're viewing gatherings. Like, it doesn't always need to be luscious and photo-worthy and all of these flowers. Like, we can really bring it down to brass tacks and say, how can I get people together often, so we are building community and staying in community and understanding what each other needs. And I think the beauty of a potluck is that it allows people to meet you wherever they're at. Like, I like to make a sign-up sheet, and like I'll have mains, sides, drinks, desserts. If you need to bring the plastic forks because you're like, I don't got it, or cooking
and
is
the
not my
tin
ministry.
foil.
Exactly.
We always run
right.
out of
like if
foil,
you can start
right?
to make people feel included in it, and not so much of like the vanity metrics of like, what are you bringing, and like what are you bringing versus what I'm bringing. Like, strip it all back and say, I want to host. I'm giving you the house. I'm making the chicken. Where can you meet me? If it's a half a bottle of wine, then bring the half a bottle of wine, and we're gonna do this together. If we can start making each other feel good about what they bring to the table, that's gonna elevate the experience. Because some months I might bring you the coffee cake, and some months I might need to bring you the seltzer and a little salad because I can't. And that needs to be okay. We need to make each other feel okay about that.
Right. That's so important because it can seem on the surface like, this is not a big
Parties
deal.
are frivolous, yeah.
Right. But one common thread that's been coming up for the past, day and a half is the power of community. Like, community is our greatest currency.
Yeah.
And when we gather, look at this, right? When we gather, something magical happens. It's therapeutic. So thank you
and
for that.
And as hosts, we are the arbiters of that space. So we have to take our responsibility as hosts a lot more seriously than just how well do you cook and how well do you style flowers. Right. We talk about that a lot.
Right. Another great segue. What are three elements, things we can all take away from this conversation that can help us, when we go back to our designated homes, respective homes and cities, help us host in a more,
an elevated way. Yes. So I think the first thing is that the role of the host is one that you need to take very seriously. If you're curating a space, the energy that you as a person bring to it is really important. The safety that you make other people feel is really important. So that might mean you're not inviting the uncle that makes a couple inappropriate comments and standing 10 toes down on that. Like, you're not coming here when I'm having all these people here and you're acting like that. Like, take the role of the host first as the curator of community and safety. So if that's your number one, everything else is going to flow a little bit better. I do think that even though my book is not a cookbook, food is important, and food and making sure that you have something for everybody. So I know that we have a lot of different dietary restrictions and limitations. Like, ask people where they are at in their consumption. Ask where they are when it comes to alcoholic beverages. So you have something that can meet everybody where they are. Or if you're doing a potluck, you can make sure that they bring what they will eat. Because I do think when people are in your space, you want them to feel considered. And that includes having something to offer them that they can actually eat. And then the third thing I would say is music. I think that music is like such an important part of how we gather, what we choose to listen to, the things that feel like oldies and goodies, the new music that we're discovering together. Like, I would think that music can set the vibe for the senses in a way that whether you're offering a full course meal or just a bag of chips, if you hear something that you want to dance to, suddenly everybody's settling into a space. So I would master those three things.
Awesome. I'm so glad you touched on music because I know you cover music intentionally in the book.
Yes.
But it's something we take for granted, right? Like the power of a good playlist.
And the music that makes us all tap our toes, and maybe that's a good icebreaker if somebody else also loves Patti LaBelle and can sing all of her songs. Like, that might get them to have a conversation that they might not have had.
Right. Love this. Well, we are going to wrap up, but this was such a soul-filling conversation, and I hope you all enjoyed it as well. I have great news. You can purchase Amber's book right to my left. It is also, I wish we had a copy like right here.
Yeah, I don't know where my bag is.
Yeah, we didn't, but someone have it?
My friends might have one. Oh, there we go. Look at them.
Perfect, yes. So you going to grab it?
Yes, thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom, yes. Isn't the cover gorgeous?
Yes.
It's a beautiful book. And I have a copy, so I have a copy in my kitchen.
Yes.
And I love having pretty things. I'm not the best cook, y'all, but I love having things like this in my kitchen, and even the book itself is a conversation starter. So anyway, the book is for purchase.
Yes.
Right here. Grab a copy. Amber may or may not be able to sign it.
I have a Sharpie in my bag, so don't feel shy to say hi. Thank you
Thank
guys
you so much for being here. Thank you.